What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another review. I'm Mike, and if you're tuning in to the channel once again, thank you for coming back. Really do appreciate it. But if you're brand new here, please feel free to hit that subscribe button. Thankfully, the cinemas have opened again here in the UK. So first day today. So of course I had to take a cinema trip to see the brand new latest installment into the Saw franchise, Spiral, from the Book of Saw. So the movie stars Chris Rock and Samuel Jackson, which of course is going to be a big attraction to a lot of horror fans and just a lot of fans in general. But it's also directed by Darren Bousman, who's helped to interpret and direct some of the previous Saw installments. So he has that kind of experience there and bringing that into this kind of latest chapter, or at least kind of a little spin-off from the original franchise, with of course focuses on Jigsaw. So this movie, however, stars Chris Rock, who plays Detective Zeke Banks, who is essentially sent these packages from kind of like a Jigsaw copycat as such, and detecting and tracking down this murderer who's going around taking out the police force. So what I will say about this movie is, I know that it's divided a lot of people. Some people like this movie, some people hate it, some people are kind of like on the fence, they like it and they don't like it, and I would say overall I completely respect where they are coming from, because I can see why. So for me personally, I absolutely love this movie. So the reasons why is, so if we take it back for a moment in terms of Saw 1 to 7, and then of course we've got Jigsaw as well. So those first couple of Saw movies, I'd say maybe Saw kind of 1 to 3, we kind of just had like kind of grounded basic versions of a simple story that worked fantastically and established this character called Jigsaw, and of course Tobin Bell, you know, so iconic in this series. And then kind of like after that kind of third movie, it kind of does go kind of off the rails in terms of, you know, you're just going to go there for the killings. You don't care about any of kind of the characters at all. And don't get me wrong, that is great about the Saw franchise, and it's mainly known for those deaths and that kind of like intrigued mystery. So when it came to Spiral, what I actually really respected about this movie is I felt like it went kind of like grounded back to basics, which for me personally, which is what I'd rather see. Because yeah, you know, these films can be mindless, like fun time, just watching killings by all means. But for me, I want to care about characters. I want to care about a story going into that. And if it's got some awesome deaths along the way, great. Added bonus into the franchise, into the movie itself. And I think that movie kind of delivered in that aspect, because we do get, yeah, we don't get many deaths, don't get me wrong, but I feel like for the deaths that we do get, we get some like really intricate traps. We don't get anything absolutely crazy, or to the point where they've made it for that 3D effect, which we'll not talk about that Saw movie. But I just felt like they kind of grounded the deaths. And really, when I spoke with my partner about this, because I went with my partner to see this at the cinema, she mentioned that she really liked the symbolism in this film, and I really get that, you know, with the first guy, for example, like hung by his tongue and in a contraption. I don't want to give too many spoilers, but just this one as a reference. So he's hung by his tongue because he's used to just talking and feeding lies. So that symbolism of that death really kind of resonates with that character, and you can say, okay, right, well, at least that makes sense. Whereas in the other previous Saw installments, a lot of the times the killings is just of these strange people that you don't care about, and they may have cheated on their partner and gotten away with it for so long, and I'm just like, right, yeah, they've committed a bad thing, absolutely, but I don't care about their quick flashback story. Whereas in this one, it's all based on a central story about the police force who are maybe corrupt, or maybe covering up kind of lies or false prosecutions, that kind of thing. And I just really respect that they kept it grounded. And overall, I think the casting is were great. Like, I love Chris Rock, the fact that he actually got a chance to shine and actually show that, look, that isn't just typecast, for example, to a comedy film. I actually love the chance he got, in fact, to do a horror, especially as he's a huge fan of this, and he actually pitched the idea itself to Lionsgate to say, look, I want to make a Saw movie for X reason, and this is kind of my idea, and they actually gave him the helm and said, yeah, great, do it. So I think kind of the inclusion of Darren Bousman in this movie kind of was a bit of a mistake. Don't get me wrong, in terms of like the actual traps itself, and if he helped do them, great. The traps themselves, fantastic. But I think overall, the way this kind of film suffers, because again, the performances from Chris Rock, Samuel L. Jackson's just awesome in this movie. I know he's not in it a lot, and I wish he was more, especially as he's Chris Rock's dad, Marcus Banks, kind of this big head figure in the police. I think their relationship would have been cared about a lot more if he had a bit more screen time, or a couple more kind of father-son moments, or kind of flashbacks as to when they were younger. I think that part of the film would have been great and would have made us care more about the character. And one thing I actually really liked is Marv Marisol Nichols, who plays kind of like the deputy or this chief constable in this precinct, who of course plays Hermione Lodge in Riverdale. I love the fact that she got a chance to shine in this movie, and for the most part, I thought she was great. I am a little bit good about the minor screen time that she got, or not enough of it. Again, I can't really fault the acting as such, because mostly it was great. I felt like it was a fresh, original take into an already Saw franchise. It did reference Jigsaw, but at the end of the day, this wasn't kind of like a Jigsaw copycat per se. They reference it, but they don't actually say it right. This is Jigsaw 2.0. But for the most part, it's kind of its own idea, and I kind of respect that originality piece to the movie itself. I think where this film is kind of let down is with maybe Darren Bousman at the helm of directing this, along with kind of Chris Rock. And I do know that James Wan had a kind of production piece in this, which is really intriguing. I felt like maybe his interference and to try and make it into this whole Saw franchise, which, yes, don't get me wrong, it's called The Book of Saw. Completely get, I'm not arguing that point. Where I think it kind of goes askew for me is the fact that maybe them Saw influences is far too much in this to kind of let it breathe and be more of its own original movie. Because I felt like at times it was trying to just live up to the typical Saw tropes. And if you're going into this film to expect loads of gore, loads of death traps, you're not going to get that, because this film does have some, but maybe not enough as the previous installments. How this film ends, I'm not going to give away any spoilers, but how it ends leads it to a big possible sequel, or I've heard that they announced a possible TV series based on this movie. So if they would go that route, they certainly can leave it a lot to interpretation. The ending did have me leaving with a couple of questions, and I turned to my partner and said, look, why did this happen, or why did this part not happen in the ending? But for most part, Spiral for me, I personally recommend this movie. Again, if you want to go into this movie with loads of gore, loads of deaths, you're not going to get that as such. But if you want to be just open-minded, maybe take a fresh take to the Saw franchise and kind of build on its own story to make you care about the overall premise of this story in just one big flush out story, you're going to get that with Spiral from the Book of Saw. So overall, my score for the movie is, I hope you guys enjoyed this review. I hope you enjoyed my take. And if you've seen Spiral yourself, leave a comment below and let me know what your thoughts are on this movie. I would personally like to see a sequel, and I've got a great idea of how they could do that sequel as well. So Chris Rock, give me a call. I'll certainly lend a hand. But yeah, guys, please give the video a big thumbs up and subscribe to the channel if you already haven't. And until next time, I'm Mike, part of the Z Review, and I'll be Zing you later.